Hey, I'm Natasha LeGrone, host of Tea with Tasha, and today I have John Kirkland in the building, actor, writer, singer, and producer, and his wife Jocelyn, master educator, author, entrepreneur. Together they host the John and Josh Show, one of my favorite podcasts, and are raising 3 beautiful children. Welcome to Tea with Tasha, John and Jocelyn. What's up? What's popping?
Yep.
Those are some heavy bios.
It's a lot. It's a mouthful.
Listen,
as you were reading, I was like, are we done yet?
They
Is that
ain't
it?
40
Is
yet.
it going to continue to go?
Well, and your voice is so warm, so I'm trying not to blush.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Listen, this Tea with Tasha. I'm going to take a sip real quick.
Jocelyn has been a master educator.
You know, I was
And
like,
she has
tell
made
me
a
more.
transition to education tech, where she's a consultant. Like, dog.
Listen,
Is Tasha syndicated already? I love it.
We're out here. And that's the thing. Like, you both have so much that you've accomplished, so much you've done, so many places you've been and together. I mean, you lived in Houston together. You've started off your journey in Michigan, went to Houston, then went to New York, and now you're in L.A.
You
Stopped
by
in Chicago.
Come on, Chicago.
At Chicago for a
George
couple
Washington.
years.
Can't forget about Chi-Town, baby. That was a
We're
big
here.
deal.
Yeah.
Huge deal.
Yeah,
where
Chicago
you
was
were
a
able
good
to
time.
where you were able to play George Washington in Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we started a kitchen conversation just the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have it all? Can we have it all? Can we have it all? Because I witnessed this couple very often juggling career, family, marriage,
It all.
children,
Doing the most.
dinner,
Doing the
hair,
most.
baths, pool time, family, friendships.
Soccer.
I'm about to go edit soccer.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to recruit John to be the
Tennis.
coach.
They trying to get me to do everything.
But he
Listen.
acted like he not. But I saw the email. He was submitting his background check. So they're recruiting him, but he's getting sucked
Listen,
in.
because somebody got to do it. You feel what I'm saying? Somebody got to coach the kids.
I saw that. I said, they got you.
Oh,
They
'Cause
got
I'm
me.
not doing that.
Jocelyn
They
saw
got
it
me,
coming.
man.
Jocelyn saw it coming. So
They
I
got
want to
me.
listen. I want to ask Jocelyn. I'm gonna start with you because especially as a woman, as a mom with a career, with family, a lot of times we've had this question. I remember in my early professional career, can we have it all? And even having conversations with young people or even parents that's like, yeah, you can have it all, but maybe not all at the same time. I'm wondering how you feel about that.
I think you can. I think people have told me that you couldn't, but that never sat right with me anyway. But for the people who were saying it,
It's not
it
my turn.
applied to them. It ain't your turn.
It's not my turn. Listen, you know I was about to jump in. Go ahead. I'm gonna sit
As
back.
for me,
I'm gonna sit
In
back.
my house.
and my perspective,
Yeah.
you can absolutely have it all.
Mm-hmm.
All of us, we only have 100% to give at any given time, and that is divided accordingly. But I'm gonna work my 100. So while I'm 100% all the things, but like with the portion that I have, I can do as much as I decide to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to have these dreams. I've always had big dreams. When I was a child, I was like, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a wife, a mom, an author, all the things. And then there was a point in life where I was like, I don't know what to do first. And I was getting anxious about it because I hadn't done any of it. So I was just like, which one? And then I decided, like, in the moment that I started to stress about it, that I would never stress about it again because it wasn't going to make me figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So I just kind of tabled the stress of it and just said, you know what? I'm going to do the one that seems the most feasible in this moment, and then we'll progress. And that's what I did. I was in college. Okay, let me just get this degree. I'll be a teacher. Then I had a little boyfriend. Okay, maybe wife on the horizon, even though I had to wait 5 years.
Why do you?
But it's not your turn. It's not your turn.
Yes. Hold the thoughts, though, John. Hold the thoughts.
And then it
You're
was
gonna
that
have
part.
your say.
Okay.
Then it was that part. And then, like, the other pieces just came into fruition, and they continue to, because as I evolve as a woman, there are now more goals on the horizon. So long story short, I believe you can, but it depends on what you're willing to do or sacrifice in the process.
I hear you completely. John, I'm a woman, so I hear a woman's perspective and take on this often. John, tap in. What does it mean, one, to have it all to you?
I think it's really all about your perspective, right? To me, you can absolutely have it all. It's simply in how you choose to see it, right? If I can quote scripture, is that okay?
Of course, it's Tea with Tasha. We praise God.
If Jesus said that I came that you would have life and have it more abundantly, right? If whole Jesus said the whole purpose of me being here was
Right.
for you to live an abundant life. Why would I settle for anything less than that?
For sure.
Right. I would often hear our elders say, you either in a storm, coming out of a storm, or headed to a storm. I'd be like, that's a horrible. Why would I sign up for
I
that?
don't like that.
That is a
Listen,
horrible
I
life
understand the
perspective.
Can we
concept.
choose one to stay in?
You know what I'm
Can
saying?
we like just be out of
Like,
it?
why am I? It's,
Can we just-
everything is
can we
stormy.
choose?
It's all stormy weather. A forever valley. No, bro. So,
Not the life I'm choosing.
so with that, while I do think there's truth to the statement, something is the older we get. Look, life,
Be
the
like
way
that.
life
Be
be
like
lifing,
that. Who coined the phrase,
not a
baby?
game.
Because it's a
Life-
better way to say it.
the way this
Woo.
life has lifed in our lives is wild.
Yeah.
But even in the midst of that, we still made a decision to say that we're not going to delay our dreams, we're not going to delay our goals, and we are going to live the life that we want to live, right? So long before booking Hamilton, long before booking
That's true.
these TV shows and doing all the stuff that we've been able to do and build, and we still have such a long way to go. Before doing all that, we decided we're not going to wait on the big job or the big breakthrough or the big whatever to start our
perfect
family.
time.
Or the perfect time. We want children. We want a pretty big family. We're done, by the way. I'm joining the Snip Snip gang. Fellas, join the gang.
Listen. I mean, the way you said it, though, it sounded like it was expanding.
He did. I was about to say,
No,
wait,
no.
calm
No, there's no expansion.
We want.
Stop.
It
Stop.
sounded
No,
like
no,
an
no.
active dream.
No. That's been fulfilled. There is no
It's
more.
like the
Making
next
sure.
generation, the legacy.
I was like, we gonna have
after
to
that.
make another
nowadays,
cut
we
of
got
this.
3 kids. That's a huge family.
Yeah.
2023, 3 kids
Well, people have more kids than that.
in
though.
Los
They
Angeles,
bugging.
You gotta,
too.
yeah,
with no
you gotta
help.
clarify.
With
Downtown
no
Los
grandmama
Angeles.
and no grandmamas and no
Well, they're in
aunties.
they have them.
We have them. They're not here. They're in
not in the state.
Detroit. Okay.
All right.
But needless to say, we made a decision that said we're not going to wait on that. Right. When I left, when we were in Houston and I finished grad school, so yeah, I want to go to Broadway. So we got to move to New York. And shout out to my wife who literally said to me, what did you say? You said, I will follow you around this whole world, wherever you want to go, but as a wife, okay? Put a ring on that thing. Ain't no girlfriend following you nowhere.
Listen, I love.
We get
when
married,
You say that.
I got
love
your
it.
back.
I will follow you wherever you go.
I'm down to ride, but don't play no games now.
Right. But the bigger thing that you said that was deep is, because I had some trepidation because you mentioned a woman's perspective,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
As a man, as a husband, as a leader, as a father, all that stuff, it's a lot of weight to that I think we don't really talk about enough. So I felt a lot of pressure to get this right. I'm like, I gotta get this right. Every decision, you can't get it wrong, you know? So when we were thinking about moving to New York, I'm praying, I'm fasting, I'm going through all this. Is it the right decision? Is it not? What if it goes wrong? Whatever. And the other thing you said is, which added to the pressure.
Not
she
to say you
said-
didn't have enough.
She said, no, I'll go with you wherever, but know what you want. And I was like,
Yeah.
I just gotta know.
Just commit. You know what I'm
Like-
saying? Like, and I think that speaks to life in general.
But the beautiful thing about it though was, as soon as you said that, at that point it's like, well, this is what I want.
Right.
So
I guess
Right.
I guess that's the answer. So we
Right.
just go get it.
Right.
Yeah.
So to bring it back to your original question,
What was it?
can you have it all?
Oh.
I believe you absolutely can. It's a matter of how you see all, how you see abundance, and how you see all the blessings that surround you, and how much focus you're giving to what your heart desires versus how much focus you're giving to what you feel like you lack. Yeah.
That's
That's a mouthful.
good. That's good. So I just even wonder, how has that evolved? Because I think even to ask that question, how many years ago was it when she asked that, just know what you want?
Shoot, 11,
11.
12, something like that. That was 2012,
Has that dream evolved? It's like at least,
11 years.
you know, because people evolve, people change. So at least it seems like you wanted clarity from that point. Because, you know, later on he may pivot, he may expand. Were you open to the journey of the expansion or the
Good
evolution
question.
or the change? He like, today I want to be an actor, I want to be a father, but tomorrow I want to be a rock star and I want to move to Vegas. And, you know,
That is a good question.
you said you go everywhere now.
I think society places a different demand on women and wives and mothers. Like, there are so many things that are supposed to happen with a woman. So I decided, even back in college when I wanted to be a wife, that I was going to have to be flexible and I was going to have to be agile. So I already committed to that, knowing that that was part of the recipe. So even trying to be a wife, let alone his wife, this man was an opera major. Now, 6'4", black boy in college
Right.
singing opera. But I was
Right.
like, if you with it, I'm with it. You
I
know?
hear you.
So I
that was
decided.
an anomaly. To
Girl,
even know, I was like,
anomalies
everybody
on
going
top
to
of
the opera.
anomalies.
John had the black MSU going to the opera,
We was
baby.
out here. We was out here.
Girl,
Listen,
I used to get so stressed because I would
We
fall
singing,
asleep every
okay?
time. And I was like, Lord, I'm going to be the embarrassing wife because I can't stay up. I cannot stay up. But yeah, I still can't stay up. But neither here nor there.
Dog, this woman fell asleep.
Don't do it.
All right.
Okay, do
Tell
it.
the story, John. Tell the story.
Do it
I'm
softly.
not
Do it
gonna
softly.
get- no, I'm not. Look, I'm
Do
not
it
gonna
softly.
get in
Do it
trouble in
softly.
here.
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
Do it softly, okay. I don't know. Ain't no way to do it
Okay, just
softly. It
do
is
it.
what it is.
Listen.
In the whole largest musical of all time.
But he wasn't on stage.
Was it her first time? Was it the first time she had seen the show? Was it the third time? Oh, the
First
first
time.
time. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's
he
first
wasn't
time.
on stage.
More
Was I-
context. Opening night. Okay, now you were
No,
pregnant.
opening night.
You were
I was
pregnant. You stayed up all opening
Yeah,
night?
I fell asleep on a Broadway one.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. On Hamilton, you fell asleep.
That wasn't opening night.
Oh no, I'm talking about when I was performing opening
No,
night.
I was terrified. I was up the entire
You stayed
time.
awake?
Oh yeah.
Hey!
Oh yeah.
I didn't know. I thought
Every
you fell
note, like,
asleep.
I was
Her
sitting there
performance-
clenching my butt cheeks like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Uh,
I couldn't go to sleep
Well,
on that
I
one.
love that you stayed awake in that. Every other show I've ever done, she
Yeah.
be knocked out. So there's that part.
Facts.
Yeah.
So that
Sorry.
makes me even think about, like, sometimes you are down to follow the dream that your partner has,
Mhm.
but it may not be your dream.
Yeah.
So how do you support each other? Like, you're not a cosmetologist. You might not get hype about hair,
I don't.
hype about
I
at this
get- I
time
get
writing a book.
irritated about
So
it.
how do you like champion for one another in dreams that you don't quite
good.
have as a person individually?
Mm-hmm.
So we decided a long time ago that if it's important to her, it's important to me. If it's important to me, it's important to her, right? And that goes for everything. So dreams, things that we would disagree
Yeah.
on in marriage and
Day-to-day
relationship,
topics.
day-to-day things, like whatever dumb little things you go through when you married. But if it mattered to her, even if it made zero sense to me, and to this day, some things make zero sense to me.
Yep.
But if it matters to her,
And your
I-
stuff don't make sense to me.
it can't. I know it doesn't.
Listen, so even like
So I find a way to make it important to me somehow, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think we talk so much, you know what I'm saying? But he has a separate journey in life. We the only thing we've done is agree to walk our journeys together.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. But we still have journeys. So he
Mhm.
has his goals, dreams, and other things, and so do I. So we have to look at the life that we share and just how to fit it all in, because that's really what it is. Even right now, being here, we have 3 kids. You know what I'm saying? So then I want to be secure in how they are spending their time when I'm not with them. And also, he has to spend his time, and determine, like, okay, what he's comfortable with. So we fit stuff in how we can, and that's how we do it all, I guess. It's along the journey.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
And I think too, I'm gonna say this too, because my journey. Excuse me.
You burping on
That
our
is-
podcast.
It's cool.
Hey,
Listen,
listen,
we have a
she
tea.
gave the chai tea. All right, this is tea with Tasha. She gave the chai. The chai caused a little reflux. All right, that
Oh my
happens.
gosh.
Everybody relax. Power it down, okay? But no, I do want to say, because my dreams, with that burp, that was funny.
that was funny.
Because my dreams do have required so much, a lot of movement. Like, to be an artist, I say this all the time, it's not just I want to be respectful. It's not the same as other people's journeys in their career arcs. So I'm also an educator. So as an educator, you may want to elevate to an administrator, and then like a principal, and then a superintendent. You have your own journey that you're pushing towards. But more often than not, that journey is in the same community. It's in the same place. You're able to kind of build right where you are and build your life. As an artist, there's a lot of travel involved. There's a lot of from this spot to that spot. There are so many different kinds of heartbreaks. Like, our heartbreaks are like, man, I was in a producer session to be a series regular on this show. I didn't get it. That would have changed my family's life. I just got to go back to it. Versus if you're like an educator, well, you still teach, so you still have a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, we back to
The
like,
trajectory's
I got to
different.
figure out how we're going to eat next week. You know what I mean? So because my journey has taken so much of that kind of space, I feel like it's only fair, at least, to make sure that I invest in my wife equally, if not more so than she's invested in me, right? it takes a lot to leave Michigan, to leave your family and all your people. I submit, if we weren't married, this woman would be at the crib with her people, probably would have stayed with her mom and them for about 10 years, stacked all that money, bought the dream house, bought the investment properties. You know what I mean? But we've been all around, we've been all over the place, and it's been not only a physical journey of movement, but a heavy emotional journey, right? So I think it's only fair, minimally, to support anything that my wife wants to do, be it a nonprofit, be it her book, be it whatever. I'm down to ride equally, if not more than she is. You know,
love that.
so I felt the need to mention that.
I love that. Look, we ain't gonna start nothing. We ain't gonna start nothing. Listen,
I don't mind starting it. You feel what I'm saying?
Here he go. I'm like, get away from me.
Because I was gonna play about baby number 4, but they got me together. He said snip snip gay. I trust him. I trust him. Okay, no,
too serious.
just kidding. But the question I have too is like the conversations you all have. I feel like they are so in depth. They flow so naturally. How did you all get to this space in your relationship where you have such good communications, and where were the hiccups, and how did you move through them? Like just even thinking about couples, that communication is usually the number one key problem or issue or hurdle.
Yep.
How have you all matured in that journey?
I'll take it back to the very beginning. Now, he had his own reasons for the things that he did and said, but they landed differently on me. So establishing vulnerability and making it safe to communicate. So like, I remember we were talking, and one of the things that he did, like, he had given me his password, or like he had his phone, like he told me his password to like open his Facebook back at that time and like check something. But as a female who was like considering and liking him, who wasn't his girlfriend yet, but who also was curious about his patterns or his communication style, it felt really good to just have him give it, you know? And he didn't change it. Like, it was the same. So if I wanted to snoop, I could have, but also that wasn't my style. So him giving his password, just little gestures like that, made me like, oh, he's showing a little transparency. And then on a deeper side, I'm a crybaby anyway. I always have been. I'll cry in a second. But to share details with him and like to be able to cry in his presence and not be, you know, shunned or criticized or anything like that. Like, it was safe for me to be my authentic crybaby self in his presence. So those foundational things occurred really early, but it allowed us to build on it for the tougher times and tougher conversations where a lot of life was occurring. So that's what I can say as far as like how that communication began, and it continues to strengthen as we grow on in time, and you blink and it's like we've been married for a decade, you know?
Yeah. Well, I also think we just both talk a lot.
That part.
So,
all the time.
I love
you
that
know,
for you.
we both
all the time.
we both just be talking. We talk. So I be tired. I be tired of myself. Like I continue to hear my voice. Like,
and then we
John,
had 3
shut
talking
up.
kids. We never
just-
shut
it's a
up.
very
We
loud
never
house.
stop.
We just always talk. But but with that, so I think that's helped us, and I think too. When you do go through those kind of bumps in communication in marriage, especially early on, what we also decided was that, look, I don't wake up in the morning like, how can I piss her off today? Like, nobody's doing that. You know what I'm
Sometimes
saying?
it feel like it.
Like it can feel that way, and she didn't wake up like, today I'm about to.
It's your day.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm about to get him today. Like, no one's doing that. So early on,
But
we
it
just decide it happens. It does happen,
Okay.
but giving the grace of like, okay, whatever she just said or did, that was not the intent, was not to hurt me, because I believe that this person is not here to hurt me. Even if that was the intent, how did we get there? Because again, I don't think you woke up today wanting to do that. So let's dissect how you got there, right? And also, we had some moments early in I think right before we got married, that we needed to kind of establish our boundaries, you know? I remember we were driving in Houston.
Oh yeah.
And,
okay. Story time.
And she
I'm like, what you about to say?
No, it ain't crazy. She had said something, and this was what it was.
Okay.
I forget exactly the scenario, but I was wrong. For whatever I said or did, I was in the wrong.
Okay, we don't remember.
I don't remember what I did, but I was wrong for it, right? Which I was fine with. But the way
He would be.
yeah, whatever. But the way she kind of approached it was real off, and it wasn't gonna work for me, right? So I remember driving a car, and she had said whatever she said, whatever. I was like, okay, one, I apologize, I was wrong for that.
Mm-hmm.
2, you can never speak to me like that again, right?
That's real.
And that was that. Like, so in that moment,
Kind of sexy.
come on, you know.
But I respected it.
but in that moment, it was necessary to just be like, I have no problem admitting fault. You know, if I'm wrong for something, I'm wrong for it. That's integrity. That's what a man should do. What a person should do is admit when you're wrong. But just because I was wrong for something, it doesn't give you the license to then turn and try to hurt
wrong
me
on top
or
of wrong,
disrespect me or something like that, right? And I think we both also just learn really quick. So from that moment, she's never spoken to me that way again, and vice versa. In moments, I remember she used to say that I was so easily angered.
Oh,
right?
you were.
Which I don't agree, but at any rate, I that's another conversation for another day. I do
Why
not
not
believe I
talk
was
about
just-
it now, though? Because
Right.
these are the things, like, you have
perfect
so
place.
much
The perfect
wisdom
place.
to
Okay.
pour into other people when it
So-
comes to hurtling through these. Because people are experiencing this. Like, is this
Yeah.
going to work? Is this a red flag? So how did it not raise itself
I'm
as a
telling
red
you.
flag, but how to navigate?
Let me
Go
tell
ahead,
you.
and then I'm gonna finish
So-
my point. But go ahead.
to the point of the never talk to me like that
Okay.
again, I think we have very high standards for ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's something that couples can navigate too. What is your standard for yourself? Because if you don't have a problem with doing certain things, then that makes you a little more eerie of someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you don't necessarily honor your word. Then everybody lying because you lie sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But if honesty is like a pinnacle of your, your being, like this is
Right.
who I am, then you can share that with your partner, and the both of you, excuse me,
I
can
didn't-
rely.
We all doing
It's
stuff.
flipping.
It's okay.
I'm not doing this. We all doing stuff.
No, you burped.
I did. Dang. Hey, we all doing stuff. We out here.
Drooling, burping,
We
cut.
drooling,
Let's
burping, whatever.
cut it.
Ain't no
Yeah.
cut. Ain't no cut. Come on. Authenticity. All right.
Authenticity. We are
It's
here, baby.
2023. That's what the world needs.
So, if you honor something on your own, then you can share that with your spouse, and y'all both can reside in that. So you can call each other when it's off. You can be proud when it's present. So he did whatever crap he did, probably some dumb, more than likely. And
Sure.
I responded in a way that, kind of matching energy. You know what I'm saying? But him saying like, I'm sorry, but you can't speak to me that way. I'm also thinking, but wait, I don't want to speak to the man I love that way. I don't want him to feel like
That's a bar.
being disrespected is a norm coming from me, because you will always know that you're respected from this direction.
Certainly.
So I had a standard for myself. So even when he called me out, I'm still pissed off about it. But I'm also like, yes, because you don't deserve to be spoken to any way other than the best, especially when it comes to me. So you could live in that. You know what I'm saying? You can count on that from me. And that type of consistency is an investment. Like, you want to be down for someone who is hard pressed to honor you at all costs, even when you're doing dumb stuff. And I don't even know what it was.
Listen.
Right, you had a little twang behind that doing dumb stuff, like it still happens. Like
Yes.
But that was whatever. We don't even remember what it
12
was.
years ago.
But the version of me in that situation still needs to be consistent. And I think that's when life starts lifing in all directions. Sometimes people give themselves permission to be something else. But like, where are you? Because it's the you in that situation that's navigating it. But if you change, or if you're doing something that you don't want to do because your emotions or circumstance has changed, then you got to figure out how to navigate from that new place versus just being consistent, you know?
and just choosing to be choosing respect and choosing to be with this person whom you say you love, right? I mentioned the easily angered thing because
bring it back. He's good at bringing it back now.
well, you
I'll
got
take
to-
us around the
you
corner.
got
We
to
be
bring it
lost.
back. You got to bring it back. But I mentioned that because I would get angry whenever she would say you're easily angered, right?
would.
Because then I would be
The
like,
irony.
okay, but it's never mind. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
the point I'm trying to get
The truth
to
comes
that
out.
I've been trying
Yes.
to get to.
Yes.
However, that's in the eye of the beholder. But so, however true or false that may be, the
Yes.
point is, whenever something would happen, especially early in dating, because this is before we were married, still very young, dating in college, and in many ways, at that time of your life, you're still really figuring yourself out, or you're like in this transitional phase. It's like you know who you are, and you're refining who you are, and there are things that you're getting rid of. There are things that you're keeping. Like, it's a really interesting, that like 18 to 25 area, right? But without fail, whenever I would say something that hurt her feelings, right? And it would never be anything like personal attack. It was really a tone. I might just like whatever.
Women, we don't like the tones.
Y'all don't like
now.
the tone. Y'all
Like,
don't
we
do well with them
don't.
tones.
We don't.
Y'all don't like them tones.
Don't hurt my feelings.
It's like
now.
it's the way you.
But
say it.
y'all will give us them tones though. It's the most ironic thing. But anyway, but at any rate, without fail, she would, just kind of dismiss us. Okay, well, I'll see you later, like that kind of thing. I'm like, dang. So without fail, every time I would end up calling her to apologize, or I go walk over to her dorm room, like, man, my bad. I was just upset because whatever. So early on, choosing to be humble.
Yeah.
And choosing to just fix things in the moment. Like, don't let it stew, don't let it fester. I just be like, yo, my bad. What's really happening is this thing that happened in this class, or this thing that happened with this person or whatever, and I'm just kind of holding that. You know what I mean? So I think early on we were able to establish an atmosphere in our relationship of heavy respect, you know, and honesty and vulnerability.
Well, we've always had a standard. So even like when he talks about being easily angered, which he was, but
in the eye of the beholder.
So what happens, or what used to happen, but we would navigate situations because we weren't matching energy, and we had a standard. When we would come across these communication bumps or these disagreements or whatever, and I know that I'm sensitive, still am, but I just have tools now to navigate a little bit better. So something would happen between us. He would say or do something, or I would take something a certain way, and when it would shift my emotions enough to like my feelings are hurt or make me upset, or like when something wasn't right, I would pause there, because the actions that could come from that, none of it was going to be fruitful, and I didn't have the skills yet to like fix it then. So I would just, when I feel it, I take a pause. So he'd say something crazy, I don't know, whatever, and then I'd take it like, okay, because I needed time to process what that was. So then we would get off the phone, or we'd go our ways or whatever. Like, it wasn't like storming off. Like, we don't slam doors, we don't hang up the phone. We never have. We don't cuss each other out. We just stick around and look dumb if we have to, but like we not.
Were those ground rules that were
ground rules
established?
from
They
day
were rules
one.
you had to discuss.
If you break up with me, I'm done. We've never broken up. We're not playing makeup to break up.
Yeah.
Again, I'm far too sensitive. So you're not about to be my boyfriend every other day. And you're not about to break up with me on the holidays or something. I don't know what you got going. If you leave all of this, then good luck.
Right.
But so we never did that. So the standard was very high. So when I had those moments, I would go away and literally I would pray. Because I knew I wasn't right. I was already about to cry anyway. Got a lump in my throat. You know what I'm saying? So like... So I'll be like, oh, first of all, Lord, help me to stop crying so much. But secondly, like, I didn't like the way he said this or whatever. And then also, I always saw him as my potential husband from day one. Been my husband, like, before he even knew it, really. Matter of fact, quick story, but I had this notebook.
Oh, God.
Come on, notebook. Did you write the vision, girl?
Tasha, I had a crush on him. It wasn't even real yet, but like, he was my husband, right? So I had this notebook. I'm in this class.
Yes.
And girl, I'm just doodling. I had a whole wedding. I had his side, my side.
Now you gotta go back, because you also went to high school together, but you went to college. Let people know kind of how you met, how the crush was established. Didn't zoom to that story, just so we got.
So
a little context.
we didn't talk in high school, but
Right.
we knew of him. He had a high school girlfriend. They were the cutest little couple, and that was it. I knew of him. And I saw him. He represented well, but
little girl.
that was it. So when we got to college, we joined the MSU gospel choir, and when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, that's him." But also, like, our mutual friends were literally all the same people, girls and guys. We just flocked to the same people. So that's where we met. And I think that's how our numbers even got exchanged, because I don't even remember him pulling my number. It just, our numbers were in each other's phone.
On my job. No, I'm playing.
Let's just be real.
No.
Let's
The real
just
story.
be
No.
real.
No, that's not real. The real story. Everything she said. Went to the same high school. Didn't know each other. I knew her brother.
Okay.
And I knew he had a sister.
And his brother went to the school too. So our
Right, so we
brothers
all kinda
crossed paths.
paths. I didn't know who his sister was, which was very awkward when he walked through the door of her crib. I'm like, "What you doing here?" He like, "What you doing here?" I'm like, "It's my girl." He's like, "It's my house." It's like, "No." But we best of friends now. Best of friends.
Okay.
But the truth is, the way this started, I gave her a call over the summer going into our sophomore year of college. Something like I think that's accurate. But the reason was I was growing in my faith, growing in my relationship with Christ, and I'm very much at the time especially a very all or nothing kind of person. So I'm like, all right, I'm like, God, you asking a lot with this like no sex situation. Like, you kind of bugging, but all right.
How you gonna
Like,
tell a guy he bugging?
that's how I felt.
Listen.
You gotta be honest with God, okay? Come on, he know how I feel anyway. You know my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all know my
everything
heart.
else.
My God, this is some low key. This is really some bull.
Yeah.
But all right, I'll try it. So honestly, I looked through my phone at the time, my little flip phone at the time, and dating ourselves. But I looked through it, and every woman's name in there was literally like, I'm a smash, I'm a smash, I'm a smash, I'm gonna try to smash, I really want to smash, I gotta smash. Like that's what it was, right? That's what young boys
And
are.
what you say when you say my name?
Don't do that. See, don't do that.
He do that.
You gotta
and
tell
then-
that part of the story though.
Well, no, the truth.
I didn't make the smash list.
You did make. You are the list. You do this all the time. You are the list. You're the whole list.
So what did
There's
you think
no
when
one
you
else
saw
on
her
the
name,
list.
John?
What'd you say?
This,
John, what did you think?
We
What did
gonna
you
read
say?
the Bible.
was this like interrogation room right now? But no, that wasn't it. What I knew, when I got to Jocelyn's name, I was like, oh, Josh is cool. And what I meant by that was you had established within yourself a standard of, I'm not that girl, right? You would establish that, and then it's
And still not.
No. So then at the time, it was just my purpose for hitting you up was like, okay, it's the summertime. I'm not finna hang with dudes all summer. I'm not about to do that, right? And I wasn't even really, calling Josh on I'm about to get on. It was not, that really wasn't the spirit of it. It was just like, I need someone else to hang with. You know what I'm saying? That's not male. She's cool peoples. It was like, Josh is really cool, man. So I'm gonna just hit her up. And then one thing led to another pretty quickly.
Been calling me ever since.
I was. Listen.
Listen. Okay,
It's
I'm
true.
a fast forward because you all have such amazing stories. We could go all day. I want to get
Facts.
to the book. I want to get to the organization, and I want to get to the podcast, just so we kind of have a framework of where we're going.
Okay.
Your book, Complexities to Ecstasy?
Of
Of
Ecstasy.
Ecstasy. I know I'm getting rid of the wrong word.
No.
So talk a little bit about the book. You talked about smashing. Now the journey to smashing. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
it prompted a book.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the book and tell us what prompted the book.
So I've always wanted to write a book,
Mm-hmm.
but like when I thought about the topic, sex kept coming up, and I'm like, I teach small children. I can't
The
write
irony.
this book.
In what grade? Kindergarten was it?
Girl, I taught kindergarten for like 5 years, but like I taught everybody.
Uh-huh.
But so the topic of sex, I really wanted to write about it, but it also was delayed because I just was like, again, to the timeline thing, the how.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we got married, consensual sex, this is where we are. I was not necessarily having the time that I thought that I would have, but also I wasn't talking to anybody about it. So I was like, what's everybody else talking about? So I was like, I'm going to do a case study. I'm going to talk to 100 women about these few topics. I written out a whole list of things, and I was just calling people up. And if I met someone, I'd be
What
like,
were
oh,
the
you want to
topics?
talk?
What were the topics?
Who taught you the majority of your sex knowledge? How early was the earliest conversations you've had about sex? What conversations have you had outside of the act? Like what things were you told? Was there any violation? How did that impact your perspective or your journey? Like there were very solid things, but as soon as I said, let's talk about sex, women like were pouring out. My topics never got really covered because they were just talking about everything. They were so excited to talk about sex. So I was just writing and typing and like taking all these notes. I did well over 100 women, like whoever was willing to talk, we talked about it. And then I wrote my book specifically about the conversation. So this is not a Kama Sutra book. Like even when I surveyed the market and I was trying to position my book as far as like, okay, what genre is this? The books about sex are like, primary anatomy. This is a penis. This is a vagina. And then there's this other end like orgies and stick it in your ear. Like
Right.
it's so
Too extreme.
too extreme.
No, but she's not lying.
It's facts. And I was like, I don't necessarily, I'm not going to tell you.
If you Google, that Google can get wild. You can ask.
There's
that
no way to go. Like you
Uh-huh.
cannot. So this book is strictly about the conversation. So and in true teacher fashion, I have sentence stems. I have genuine questions to ask that you can engage in even on your own. Like where do certain thoughts come from? The things that you prefer or despise. When did that begin and why? And there's always a story. There's always a story about everything. So like that was the heart of writing the book. And like I'm not easily embarrassed. I talk about everything, but the fact that I wasn't talking, I was like, wait a minute. I need to speak in this space. So the threat there was like people are going to see me talking about sex, but the benefit there was like people are going to see me talk about sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm inviting other people to have that conversation transparently too.
That's beautiful. And I've been a part of some of those conversations. It's been very eye-opening and freeing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think there aren't a lot of safe places to talk.
Really?
And I would say non-judgmental. And then
Correct.
sometimes it's not really people that want to judge you. Sometimes you're judging yourself for the experience
Girl.
you're having or not having, or even like when you're a Christian, I'm not supposed to be having sex, or I'm not having sex, so what voice do I even have? But we are sexual beings, so why aren't we having that conversation?
We need to talk about it.
So how would you advise people kind of go about those journeys, like whether they're like on their own sexual awareness and evolution journey, or just figuring out how they're evolving as sexual beings, like as women in spaces where maybe it's taboo to talk about sex, or they don't feel like they have people to talk to? Where would a person start?
You can start by buying my book.
Buy the
you go.
book.
That's one.
Yes,
So
where can they find the book?
you can find it on
Complexities of Ecstasy.
Amazon.
Yes.
Or you can go to my website, JocelynMKirkland.com. You can get it in both places. But aside from buying the book, I think the biggest piece of advice I can give anybody is to ask yourself questions. So simply, why? You know, like when a thought comes, when an emotion comes, just ask yourself the why and then see what comes up as a result of that. Like, as far as I go, I am a woman of faith. I'm a woman of a moral standard. I have certain decisions that I've made. So my sex stuff come through the lens of those things. There are other people who have other things going on, but like just examine what's going on with you, and then that will lead you to some thoughts and feelings that relate to sex and your perspective.
Awesome. It takes two to tango in traditional standards, not getting wild on on the Google search.
Traditional.
So, you know, I mean, I'm gonna leave it there. So, John, just the journey of writing this book, like, how did this, like, you know, impact your relationship? How did it impact how you all see each other sexually? How you guys have grown in communication in that space?
Yeah. It's been great. I'm here for it. You know, like I get to be the test dummy. I have no problem with that. Right? So, I have no problem with that. No, but I think it made us stronger. It continues to make us stronger. Look, sex is a large part of whatever relationship, you know what I mean, your marriage, you know, is such a large part of a covenantal relationship that it needs to be right. Like we made another all our agreements, you know, we set our rules. I told her early on, like, listen, don't ever fake nothing with me, okay? I don't even know how to explain the, you know, I don't know the word. I don't know if it's embarrassment, frustration. I don't know what it would be, but it's like, don't be faking no orgasms and screaming and shaking, and that's not real. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but also that goes right in line with our marriage because we're not lying to each other. No matter
don't
how
lie.
hard or like, no
Don't
matter how
lie.
difficult the conversation. I
Yeah.
recently had a friend ask, it was a male counterpart, and I was telling him something about a letter I was writing and like some proposal that I had. And I said, well, John said that was crap. I'm gonna go back and do it. And he's like, he don't worry about hurting your feelings. And then I thought about it like, oh, that's the thing. People do worry about hurting them. And I was just like, no, we've had so much practice at it.
yeah, no, I don't.
And the trust that's there, too, to take somebody at their word. Like, because sometimes you're like, you don't know what they're talking about, but obviously you have established that trust and you want the best for
That's
one
true.
another.
Yeah, so for me, it was like if what we're doing is not hidden for you consistently the way it should, then we got to figure that out, right? And then as a man, I think we walk with this bravado because we're told early on that what makes you a man is the number of women you sleep with and the number of women you please, right? So most of us go through life thinking, I got to get all these notches on my belt and I got to make sure all of them is squirting and busting nuts and doing all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to make sure if I don't do that, I'm not a man. What they don't tell you is growing up, and now it's different because you have people like John and Jocelyn being open, being honest. So now little 12-year-olds got much more awareness than we had at like 20.
True.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
and the internet too. Like there is a range of information available.
It's a range of it's just more information out there. But what we didn't get when I was coming up was that, hey man, every woman is different. So whatever worked for this woman over here or that woman over there or whatever you did with XYZ so-and-so, throw all that away because this woman is starkly different than anyone else, right? There's also privilege that we get to experience as men, as sexually. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, our whole society cultivates women to serve men, right? So that's why these conversations weren't being had. I think, at least in part, why these conversations weren't being had because both male and female are coming into these marriages or into these dating relationships just under the subconscious of like, well, pleasing him is the goal, right? Even though our whole ecosystem has changed, that still exists, right?
Yeah.
So for me, there is no I had no problem. I'm like, write the book. Please write the book.
That's what
You
I
know
was
I'm
wondering.
saying?
Like, John, where were you? Like, I just feel like it takes such a confident man to be like open and transparent about like what's going on with you and your relationship.
Because it's not it's there is no indictment on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, that's I think an archaic mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about, oh, you couldn't, like, no, I'm fine. Ain't got nothing, you know what I'm saying? Because what we learned also, let me also say this, what also gave me more peace, because you don't want to be out here embarrassed or something, which I wasn't gonna be no way. But as we researched and as we learned, what we came to find for my wife was that the inconsistencies, I think, were these mental hangups and was a lack of I don't know if I want to say exploration. I don't know if that's the word I want, but
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, let's talk about
So-
that. Because there's a lot of women out here that we need to
Yeah.
break through.
Yeah.
We want to be able to, achieve.
yeah, dudes, we've been watching porn and jacking off since we was like 9, bro,
and
10.
then to being able to
so-
talk about it openly.
Well, whatever.
Whereas
But I
women,
think the
not
good
so
girl
much.
syndrome comes into that too, because
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
not exploring. I wasn't jacking off at 9 watching porn. Yeah,
9 was early. It was
I
more
was
like
reading
12.
books and playing dolls.
9 was a little early. 12.
He was
Let's
jacking
just-
off at 9.
I was
12?
not.
Okay,
not,
fine.
not
3
I was,
more years.
I was
Okay.
watching
All right.
9.
Okay.
You got
I was
Karen on the
watching-
tech over here cracking
I was watching at 9, but I wasn't
bottom-
jacking
you
off
wanna
at
do-
9. It's a
listen,
little soon. It's a little
listen,
soon.
listen.
Okay. The point is,
A little soon. A
the
little bit.
point is, our journeys were different.
Yes.
And everybody's are. So I
Yes.
think in total, our communication has always been transparent. So he was aware that I wasn't doing what he was doing at 9 or 12. But also, I do want to say, because it's something that you just made me think of, but like, if my husband were to say he wasn't ready to talk about this, or he didn't want me to talk about it, I would not have written that book. So not that I needed his permission, but I also very much sought his approval, because I wasn't about to be out here talking about something that he wasn't down with. I wouldn't put us out there like that.
Right, and I want to. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble because I know we're like low key live, so I'm taking a big risk
Here
right
we
now.
go. Here we
Taking
go.
Take the
some
risk.
major
You
risk.
Take the risk.
You ain't got to go to sleep with her, nigga. It's a big risk. We're gonna see.
Okay.
But no, I do. But here's this. A situation like what I'm about to say is what prompted some of my piece of like, you need to write this book.
I'm so
Early in
nervous.
marriage, it's fine.
Okay.
Early in marriage, we have our experience, we smash, we do what we do. That's not true. We make love. We're married,
Oh,
right?
Lord.
So we making
this
love
is
or
only
whatever.
part of the interview, but okay, go ahead.
Fine. But no, but we just popped in that moment, right? Like, it was one of the moments where Josh had a very powerful orgasm, right? And I remember you went to call one of your like mentors, like one of your like auntie types. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't get in trouble. We're here now.
Lord.
But I ain't gonna say nothing too crazy. But you went to make that phone call,
People gonna
right?
like tea with Tasha. Whoa.
This is what it is. Trailblazers,
This- yeah,
entrepreneurs, and artists,
Um,
but it gets a little real and
It
messy,
gets
and that's
real,
okay.
but you went to make that phone call because you was like, girl, what was that? Like this,
That's
what,
true.
like whatever. So for me, it's like that right there. That's what you can experience every time.
Also, he was proud too. So that's
Now,
Of course
was
I was
this
proud.
After the
You're always
book?
proud.
Is this during the journey? Where was this?
No, this was early.
This is
This
early
before
the
this
book.
is like
Okay.
this is like first few months of marriage, like
Okay.
first couple
Yeah.
months of
Okay.
marriage. So this is way early, but even
it was
early
conversation
on-
worthy. I wasn't necessarily just calling to talk, but like, my legs ain't work. Like like my legs were literally trembling, and I was also like, where does this fit in the conversation? Because I ain't never heard nothing like this. So I was laughing. I was fine, of course,
Right.
but your legs don't work. So I was also calling like, have your legs ever not worked? And we cracking up. He's proud because like, hey, I broke your legs. But the point is,
Sitting
What
there with
Mars
a
like?
cigar.
Drinking
Yeah,
orange,
you know what I'm saying?
drinking orange,
What-
looking at
what
your
it
man
do?
in the mirror like,
Is it
hey,
your right leg?
hey, listen, hey.
But the
Hype on
point
it.
is, like, to be able to talk about those type of experiences, because prior to that, I never even heard of nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Or like you hearing the songs make your legs tremble. No. My legs was broke, yo. Like, so, yeah.
But the thing is, so then when when the next night comes and that doesn't happen, you know what I'm saying?
You
It's
ain't get your
like,
trophy.
hey, dog, like
What's going on?
What is happening right now? Like, this is supposed to work. You know what I mean? And then if the next, I'm like, nah, hold on, nah.
My legs ain't been broke since.
I know. I got to know what I'm doing.
They broke that
you know
time.
What I mean?
Yeah.
So why is it that, why is it that this what was it about this moment that was so effective that these other moments were not? Like, what's going on? So, as she had talked about, like, starting the process of having these conversations, writing this book, I'm all for it, because I'm like, I want my wife to experience the most heightened level of pleasure that she can, right?
Well, and then also, I think part of our ministry and a big part of our lives is to really demonstrate, like, people can see us and glorify the God that we serve. You know, see us and see something different about our lifestyle, our marriage, our, identity. So in having this conversation real time along the journey, because, like, I don't know everything, and I won't. Don't plan on doing everything. Like, that's not the point. Having these conversations in real time, or even him bringing up a story and, like, us being okay with it here talking to you and whoever's listening, is very important to normalize these conversations, because if you don't, then there's a gap there, and that gap is absent of our voices. So, like, yeah, it's worth the cost. We can go ahead, like, do what you will with it. People gonna criticize you or analyze and pick at your story with or without you actually sharing with good intention. So yeah, we've had our journey. We still having our journey. Like, I learned something more daily.
I love it.
So
I love it. And it seems like I hear the constant growth, evolution,
100%.
humility, communication, how
Absolutely.
it all ties together.
Absolutely.
Because I know you're so committed to each other. So it's like, we're figuring this out 10 toes down. If I need to kind of, okay, maybe it's my turn to retreat. Let me get some self-awareness happening and move through it. Like, you mentioned tools earlier. Have tools come in the form of only prayer? Have you had therapy? Have you had counseling?
Good question.
Like, what has those type of tools played a role? How has that played a role in your relationship?
Can I go?
You going?
Okay.
Making people think
I
I'm
got excited. Well, no, I didn't know if you wanted to speak. I wanted to
you got
honor
it,
your
babe.
space.
Yeah.
But no, we've always said that marriage is if a successful marriage, I think, is a series of long, hard conversations.
Yeah.
Very long, very hard conversations. We have not done couples therapy.
We did premarital counseling with the pastor that we,
sure.
But, like,
Yeah,
other than
fine.
that, we haven't had nothing against
Did
it.
that help you?
You know?
Was it work?
We didn't need it.
It was. He was just like, okay, y'all okay.
We didn't need it. But that's not to say that I don't champion it. We champion counseling. We champion therapy. We're relationship advisors.
Right.
Like, we work in the space of advising other couples. So we're definitely champions of it. But what's worked best for us is the honesty, the vulnerability, and very long, very hard conversations, right?
They ain't that hard.
So say what you will. Say what you will. To each their own. My perspective. Some of them are hard, man.
Some of them are
'cause
hard.
you gotta-
Yeah, there are hard
Imagine
conversations.
imagine the conversation we were just talking about sex, right? Imagine us having to sit down and have a very vulnerable conversation about something isn't working, right? Like, us together in that, there could be an ego hit as a man. There could be so much frustration as a woman. And we both experienced that to an extent, right?
Yeah.
But the way to get through that is to have a long, hard conversation, and then on the tail end of it, you come back to, like, oh, you're really committed to me, and I'm really committed to you. So let's just figure it out. You know what I mean?
Now, you know what? Hearing you say that made me aware of something within myself. It's not hard for me because I trust you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, as a woman, I'm like, even when it's hard, the level of hard is not hard, long, hard conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, difficult. You know what I'm saying? But hearing you say, like, as a man, it would be hard to be that vulnerable, especially with society is like, you have to be certain things. So
It's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a good. So for me, some of them
Hard is
conversations was
relative.
hard.
Hard is relative.
Because we ain't cultivators no man to just be vulnerable. You know what I mean? And do all that. Like, talk about easily anger. It's because grew up in a house with two older brothers. You know what I'm saying? A very athletic football, basketball coaching father. And then my mother, God bless you for dealing with us.
Bless her heart.
Love you, Mom.
All those men.
All those men. So it's like we weren't groomed to just be lovey-dovey and huggy and kissy, and we wasn't doing that junk. You know what I'm saying? So when you got to open up, it's like, all right. So, you know what I mean? And you got to really go there.
Yeah.
So it's not always easy, but that's what's helped us. That's probably been our best tool.
Yeah. Well, then, and one of the biggest tools, like in this present moment, his parents have been married for over 50 years, mine over 40. So we came from seeing them. The demonstration that we had concerning marriage and relationship, that's a huge tool in our kit that I think we don't necessarily give as much credit as it deserves, because there was no breaking up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we saw them get mad and recover. You know what I'm saying? We saw them navigate life. We saw them hills, peaks, and valleys. Like, we saw so much growing up. By the time we came together, we were equipped with that on our backs, seeing that from the parents, you know, that raised us. So with that in mind, we choose how we navigate. And this is a different day and age. Like, I don't have my parents' marriage. He don't have his parents' marriage. We're creating our own.
Yeah.
But I think that is the biggest tool, because we're able to see a marriage that, and then they're also still married, you know?
Can I trump your biggest tool with one last tool?
Yeah.
What
last,
tool?
Last
I'm going to get another one.
No.
You ain't going to compete with me on this podcast.
Listen,
No,
we having tools
I
and
would just-
toolkit.
I would just say scripture, right?
He got me.
I did. You ain't gonna. There ain't no trumping.
All right.
But no, that's been huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, literally just honoring biblical principles. You know,
Yeah.
which is actually very well. I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say very easy to do, but that might be relative. So
It's relevant.
yeah. But yeah, that's been, I think, the baseline.
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know?
I got one.
All right.
Love. God is love.
All right.
If we put that,
I guess.
That's in the same
if we,
cup.
I had to add something. Okay.
So that's why you're in the
Next
cup together.
question.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
that's funny.
mug.
That's funny. You talk about love, though.
All right.
On the note
All
of love.
right. Get
Listen,
outta here,
have a
bro.
moment. Have the moment. We are here for it. Black love, godly love. We love it all. And self-love is important too. Self-love, caring for ourselves, self-care. And I know that's really important to you, Jocelyn. And you just became the owner, the CEO, the founder of Apex Effect, a mission empowering women and children by providing them with tools and resources needed to achieve optimal hair care and well-being. Tell us a little bit about Apex Effect.
That was a phenomenal transition.
It was. She's smooth with it.
That was great.
Thank you. Coming from the smooth operators, that's
That was
quite the
great.
compliment.
That was
Thank
great.
you.
And self-love. Tell us about.
Listen, I'm
That's
being
elite.
real,
That's
girl,
elite.
head to toe.
That's
You
elite.
know what I mean?
Beautiful. So Apex Effect is a passion project of mine as a woman and as someone who is impacted by how I show up in this world. So I'm a licensed cosmetologist, as you mentioned. So I've been doing hair all my life practically. Like, as a little girl, my mom did my hair. Her skills stopped at a certain point. she could only go so far. Right. And so being a young girl in Detroit and, you know, trying to show up, mama could take me to a certain point, but then I started doing my hair, experimenting. I taught myself how to braid by observing others. There wasn't no YouTube back in the day. So like, I knew what it felt like to get braids. I watched other people braid. I learned how to braid my hair, and, you know, other kids, and they were my friends. And then like that became adults, you know, like I did that. So fast forward, I became a cosmetologist. Showing up in the world is so important to your self-esteem, to the opportunities you have, to how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself. You know, like if you cannot present yourself or feel good about yourself, it's going to limit the version of you that you bring to the world, and thus really limit your life. So my thought was, how can I make an impact in the lives of people and how they show up in the world around them? Starting with hair and wellness and hair care. So that was the original vision. So Apex Effect is dedicated to just that. Getting resources, getting people to join in with the cause, and then providing women and children with the opportunity to get combs and brushes, practical things, to get wigs or head wraps or whatever the case. Like, let's help women show up, because every other area in life, like the necessities are covered with helps. You know, if you needed food, you have EBT or a soup kitchen or, you know, food stamps. You can get food. If you needed housing, you know, there are mansions and studios and housing. There's so many things to help. With your hair, limited, the resources are limited. Yeah. And not only that, but as an African American woman whose hair texture is not just going to go for whatever you say, like, you have to work with me tenderly. You have to work with this tenderly. Like, I remember in college we had mock interviews. I'm sure they still do that type of thing.
Right.
I was a teacher. Like, I wasn't even doing something where neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
They prepared us for mock interviews, and these people told us you could only have your hair down or pulled back in a bun.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the only two styles. As a black woman with 4C hair, that was a shot at me because my counterparts, they were washing their hair daily. They throw it up and they can go to. I had to work. I had extracurricular activities. I had a job. I had other classes, and then I got to do this 4C hair to match your standard of what my hair should look like in order to be professional. That was a big deal, and I did it. That was the time. But I didn't roll out of bed like y'all did. It took me time to have to get my hair in a way that you said was professional.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we've grown a lot in our perspective, and black hair and different hair textures have a lot more acceptability. But to take it a step further, what can Apex Effect do? If you have a job interview, you could have all the skill, the resume, you could dress up. If your hair is jacked up, you're not getting that job.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do now.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask. Can you take this jacket off? Can
My
you show
jacket?
off the logo and
Yeah.
the shirt?
Oh,
And
yeah.
It's a beautiful design. Can we move the mic out the way? Give Apex Effect some love.
Yes.
Give it
This
some
is the
love.
logo.
That's
Oh.
also the website, apexeffect.com.
We love
Yes.
it. We love it. We are here for entrepreneurs and
take the jacket off. I
trailblazers.
said,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we didn't want nothing more. just the logo. Just the logo. And it's not that kind of
See,
stuff.
I
I know
see
we
where
getting
she
pretty
going.
wild with
You
the
see where she
Kirklands.
going.
I know we kicking it.
She's
but
always
we
going
go
to step
Why?
it up. Always just a little
I didn't
too
start.
far.
I was like, all right.
Okay. Listen.
Take it off.
Yep.
Well,
Okay.
that's what we doing. Come on.
Listen, just to show off the beautiful logo, the design, the website. I love to hear it. We're
Yeah.
all here for the laughs, and I know we're going to get a ton of that watching the John and Josh show. Okay?
Yes,
John and
yes.
Josh show. Tell us a little bit about it, how it came to be. And John, I must add in there, I know it was some years in the making. I can relate to that today.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you just get to a place where you just got to do it. I had a vision for podcasting, if you will, before podcasting was podcasting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wanted
Facts.
to host my own talk show, radio show, whatever the case may be.
Right.
Since I was like 17, 16, especially in college when I noticed that we would have you have all your deep college conversations. And I noticed that my perspective was a little different than everyone else's. Not better or worse, but different, but I thought very valuable. And I'm like, I feel like I need to give this to the world, and not on no arrogant, not on no, entitlement.
share it.
Just share, like, someone might need this, So needless to say, our show came about because during the pandemic, I started to host my own show called Kicking It with Kirk, which was great.
Sure.
We had a great time with that. And then I just felt like Josh and I have a secret sauce that I think, is dope, to be for real, objectively. So I was just like, babe, let's do this podcast. Like, it's time. Let's just do it. And I think too, getting a little older, we're not old, but getting a little older. And I think seeing time is not waiting for anyone. And our kids have really illuminated that. Like, seeing our oldest turn 6. It's just like, oh my God. Like, she's supposed to be a little baby bopping around. We see her picture like, dang, I forgot she looked like that when she was a baby. So seeing that was just like, there comes a point in your life where it's either, use it or get off the pot. You know what I mean? And it's time to do what we got to do. So we started the show. I think it's dope. Y'all should follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Yeah.
Yeah. And just a part of the vision of it. So it's his brainchild. I didn't mind joining in, but I can say I didn't know how that was going to work because I didn't want to, we talk a lot. I didn't want to step on his toes. So also, but I didn't want to be the co-host. So I'm like, just do it. I don't know. And he's like, no, we're going to do it together. So I was a little bit apprehensive actually initially because I just didn't know how it would go. But we've navigated it together, and like it's a pretty good space. Like we tag team pretty well. So
yeah, I think also, correct me if I'm wrong, I think another reason why you may have had a little trepidation was because she's walked with me through this artistic journey. So she's seen like what it looks like when, man, you didn't get that gig. Dang. You know what I mean? So I can imagine, even if it's subconscious, I can imagine the like, I don't know if I want to do that. You know what I mean? Because if this doesn't go the way you want it to, I don't want to be a contributor to
That's
like
true.
some artistic venture
That's-
that didn't land the way you were hoping it would.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm like, it's going to be great. Like,
Right,
like
right.
it's not even that deep.
That's true.
So I
That
think
was
I
part
think
of it
that's
for me, I
that's
think.
probably part of it too, right?
Mhm.
But that's not a real thing. Like literally, we enjoy spending time with each other. I'm a talker. I feel as though I have something valuable to say. We have something valuable to say. And the John and Josh show, in many ways, is the beginning of much more that'll be added. You know what I mean? So I know that's news to you, right? With that, there's more coming.
I love it.
There's
I love
more.
it. I love it.
And we're still very much in the discovery phase, you know.
Yes.
But it's exciting, man. You know,
Yeah,
it's exciting
it
to sit
is.
with my wife and talk about all the stuff, you know. And I
It's
actually,
fun.
and it's helping people. Like that's the biggest thing, is that we're here to serve, you know. And we want to serve and we want to help. Like I'm tired of, I see so many, especially in the space of relationships and marriage and
That's
all
true.
this
It's
stuff.
a lot of content out here.
I be looking at this stuff like, what are y'all talking about? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and if I feel as though I have something valuable to add, then I can't complain about it if I don't add the value, you know.
That's true.
So I figured we just got to add this value, you know, and start
That's true.
talking. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's the long short of it.
I
think.
love it. I
Mhm.
love everything about it. I love that the world gets to see what I get to experience in an intimate way
All the
in the
time.
kitchen, in the living room. I mean, it's been a blessing. I mean, I couldn't be in a better place as a person dating and having relationship navigation and having you two by my side. I mean, to be able to get a male perspective, to be able to get a woman's perspective. Also, as a woman with standards and wants to be married, it's been so rich. And I'm so happy the world gets to experience that and to see what it's like to truly have it all and how you can have it at the same time.
Yeah.
But it takes
She's
work.
so smooth with it.
Yeah,
It takes communication.
yeah. The John and Joss show, JON and JOSS.
Yes.
Just so we get it right. All right. A lot of
Yes.
promotion going on right
Yes,
now.
we
Apex
love it.
Effect.
That's what it's for.
Complexities to ecstasy.
Yes.
Of ecstasy.
Yes.
Complexities of ecstasy.
'Cause you know he just trying to get you there to the ecstasy.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that's what we
mercy.
also. But you know,
I thought I
there's
said of.
but there
I'm
is
sorry.
complexities of
Yes,
ecstasy.
that's true.
Yes.
It's of ecstasy, and we
Yeah.
love to see it. We'll have links attached to this. The show Tea with Tasha will be going up on all the platforms. We'll make sure we have links to everything, so you can connect
That's a
with
lot of
John and Jocelyn and continue to follow their journey. Even follow their Facebook page, so you can join in on soccer when the girls are on the soccer field. I think next time you gonna see John on the field coaching.
I don't know
That's
you
what
You heard
they
it
gonna
here
see.
first.
Oh, man. Nah.
Oh, mercy.
Listen, John and Jocelyn, it's been a pleasure to have you, to have your support, to have your
Yeah.
love. And I'm so happy again that you were able to join me for Tea with Tasha. Listen, we did it, y'all.
And listen, and I'm gonna say
We
this
did
on the
it.
way out. We're so proud of you, very much so. You done did this thing, and I know we know how hard it is to just start.
Yeah.
So as you continue on this journey, the first time is the hardest time. You've now done the first time. Keep going. Don't stop. Keep being great. Very proud of you, sis.
Thank you,
Yeah.
bro. Thank you,
Yeah,
bro. I
no
love
doubt.
you all
Yes,
so much.
love you
I
too.
thank you. And Jocelyn trying to smile, but she be bullying me into getting it done too. Now she trying
That's
to
true.
listen, like
true.
butter with melt in
Jocelyn
her
is
mouth.
the sweetest bully of all time. The sweetest bully of all time.
Listen, I try to be
Girl, you need to just do it. That's it. You need to just I'm
But
calling the studio
I'ma tell
right
you.
now. I'm
See,
gonna
now
set
they
your
calling
studio
me out,
time.
so now I gotta say it. Now I gotta say it.
Yes. Thank you.
Because your vision has been clear forever.
Mhm.
You are a dynamic woman and host. This thing right here is powerful. In the same way that we look at like old Oprah clips where, you know, her hair, her weight, her style back in the beginning, it was different than the Oprah that we have now. Like, it's a privilege to be a part of your old reels. Because we're making
Mhm.
history right now.
Amen.
This is a part of your journey. So I'm very blessed to be a part of your journey. And
Yeah.
there is nowhere we would rather be right now
Facts.
than here supporting you.
And
so
it's
we love
nobody I would rather have right here.
No
Right
doubt.
now.
The inaugural
Love it.
podcast
There
in
we
the
go.
studio.
In
y'all.
the studio.
We in the studio, y'all. We in the stew. Hey, we in the stew.
There you
Yo,
go.
I just want to quickly shout out my local Starbucks for partnering with me, providing some Teavana tea today for Tea with Tasha. Everybody got their feel, and we like to pour into cups. So I want to know, John, just a little wrap around. What's up in your cup? What's in your cup?
I
Literally and figuratively.
Oh,
What's
what?
filling you up?
Huh?
What tea did you have? I'm doing one of our actor exercises. No, just
There you
kidding.
go.
But no, real
Red
talk.
leather, yellow leather.
I like
Red leather, yellow leather.
This is a test. But real talk, yes, we had the T-Vine and we hooked you up, but also I love to say what's in your cup as a
that's
metaphor for what's up, what's filling you up at this
I like
time.
that.
So it's like what's filling me?
Yeah, both. You can tell me both.
Well, in the cup was chai tea.
Okay.
With oat milk. Shout out, that was great. I never had that before. That was amazing. I would say what's filling me right now is my family. I think it's so easy in this life's journey, especially in this freaking American capitalism, to see what you don't have, quote unquote. So I've been really focusing on all the abundance that I get to experience every day. So while every dream is yet to be realized, I'm still living a great life, a really good life. So for me, it's just the perspective of my kids. We play all the time. We hang all the time. I do love the soccer situation. It's a lot. It's a lot, but I love it.
Did you
I
see
fool with
yourself
it.
being a soccer dad?
So he's always been a soccer dad before he
I
had
played
kids.
sports. I was an athlete before anything else, So so I was always hyped to do it. I was not yet ready for the commitment. It's a lot.
It's a
AYSO.
lot.
Y'all doing a lot. AYSO. But I love y'all. But it's
What's
a
the
lot.
name of the teams? I love the team names. Shout them out.
Joy's the oldest Joy. Her team name is the Koala Puppies. And Jada's team name is the Purple Unicorns or Purple Ponies. There's a discrepancy.
Somebody
We're not
in the family or somebody in the thread said it wrong. So we were talking about the purple ponies, and then we became purple unicorns, and then purple something
Did
else.
it change?
It was something else.
Something purple with a horse and an antler. Put it that way.
Okay.
But anyway, so I would just say I really get to live a phenomenal life. We're on strike right now. That's tough. But I get to spend more time with my family, So that's what's filling me, man. My family, my wife and kids.
I love it.
That's sweet.
Jess, what's in your cup?
Something with the clouds and the mist. I forgot to remember the name, but it was good.
It was a whole hour ago.
It was, and it's
Listen,
kind of cold right now, but
clouds in the
it
mist,
was
green tea.
If you look, you'll find it. The
There
one
you
with
go.
the clouds and what was it called?
Listen,
Do you
I
remember?
don't remember.
I just said it. The Emperor's clouds in the mist.
Emperor.
The Emperors.
Ah.
There you go.
Kingdom green
Okay,
tea.
so that was that. What's filling my cup right now is peace. Peace that passes all understanding. Like, I really want to just make this known. It's so much happening right now.
It's crazy.
It's so much happening in my life at all times. Literally, my breasts are filling with milk.
I was
right
just
now.
thinking about, I'm like, breastfeeding. You wrote the book, Breastfeeding.
I'm running
You're
about
here,
2 hours
the
of
baby
sleep.
in the other room.
I'm working full time. Like, girl, I'm planning a fundraising event for the nonprofit that
Yes.
I'm starting to serve other people. Like,
Yes.
you have to be centered in peace, if nothing else, to be able to function and show up to support your friends, or to show up to give love to someone, to do things. Okay. But so peace is in my cup, and yes, that's what I would say.
I love it. And I'm not going to let you get out of here without telling us about this event you are planning and where will it be?
Yes. So fundraising. This is the first official fundraiser of Apex Effect. So we're doing a movie pre-screening in Michigan. So we're selling tickets, but also you could purchase tickets to donate to someone who, would like to come see the movie. So it'll be in Michigan, but more details specifically are on the website, apexeffect.com.
Yes. And I know people are thinking, well, what's the movie that'll be screening? I don't know that legally we can say it yet.
So why are you commenting?
Because that's her follow-up was, Tasha knows she's doing. The follow was going to be, oh, what's the movie?
Or was
Like,
it?
All I'll say is I'm going to drop a hint. Look at the back room color of the room, and I'll just leave it there.
Sure, that actually works. But yeah, yeah. So I just had to put it out there just because people are like, what movie? I'm gonna come. I want to see
Well,
what
then
movie
they
you're
would
doing.
go to the website. That's why I was trying to cliffhanger it, but it's all right. Well, y'all
Right.
know what it is
It's
now.
okay, but
yeah.
why wouldn't you be able to say it?
Well, legally speaking, we're doing
Yeah.
a pre-screening.
Okay.
So the movie
before,
comes out
yeah.
on Christmas Day, but we're going to screen it before.
Beautiful.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying, bro? Like, just gave away
Beautiful.
all.
you gave it away before I gave it
No,
away.
I did
Tasha
not.
gave
I
it
think
away.
it's okay. I personally think it's okay.
We ain't say nothing.
I
so
guess
technically
we'll
we
find
still
out.
good.
Listen, we'll find out, and if it's an issue, I think we could kind of comb past it and
It's
have
all right.
some,
No,
have
technically
some
we didn't
music
say
play.
anything.
But,
Okay.
no, we didn't say anything.
say
We didn't say anything. Just like
He
Marvel.
started it.
you
We
know?
would have made it. And then he
The
gonna,
greatest part is my
Yes.
boy Cam over here started rolling. As soon as you said, well, it comes out, and he like, well, that's it.
Well, I mean, mean, it could be a lot of movies coming out around
That's
that time.
right.
I mean, that's a hot
Nah.
time.
I ain't fooling
Christmas,
with y'all.
holidays.
See?
Listen, I'm just saying. I'm just
Go
saying.
on and clean it up.
And
Go
I
on
would
and
even
clean it
say
up.
what part of Michigan, because y'all got to represent.
So, okay, so we're from the Detroit metropolitan area. I'm
Okay.
from Detroit proper. He's
Okay.
from Southfield, but the movie's going to be in Farmington at
Okay.
a theater. So, but it'll be in the area that people can.
It's in Detroit.
A central area.
Stand up.
That's what you said.
Nah.
Detroit
Yes.
verse. All
Listen,
right. The
that's
original
it.
verse, everybody. Shout out
Okay.
Tommy. Detroit
Listen.
verse. Yeah.
Shout out, and because Flint has one too now. Flint versus. You know what I
Yeah, so
mean?
it's a huge
Everybody.
brand.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're doing a thing. So we're gonna wrap it on up. Thank you so much again for joining me. Thanks for sharing what's in your cup. I
No
love
doubt.
you both. And that's Tea with Tasha. It's a wrap.